It's been a little while since we've done the drill, but you guys do know it. Hi guys, I'm Amy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video for you guys that I can't say I'm proud of that I'm making. This is a problem I've never had in the past as a reader, but if you would like to see the skeletons in my closet, I guess, and go over the stack of books next to me that are books that I started and never finished. And I will say in general, sometimes I do DNF books, but that's largely a conscious choice. I am deciding not to finish a book, and these are all books that I had every intention of finishing, but for whatever reason, walked away from, which is very strange for me, guys. So these are all books that are technically in progress, and there are 6 of them. This has never happened to me before. So, and some of them have been hanging on for literal years. So let's get into it. All right, the first book on the list, I probably don't have to include this one on the list because this was a book that I had started for the Indie Press project, which I am so far behind on, or haven't really truly participated since August, September. And this was for Verso Press, and I purchased Racecraft, The Soul of Inequality in American Life by Karen E. Fields and Barbara J. Fields. And this is just a series of essays about exactly that. I haven't even finished the introduction, but something to note about me that some of you may know, but when I start a book, like seriously start a book, I will write in it on the inside of the title page, cover page, my phone is going off, the month and the year that I started it, as well as any like pertinent information, like am I reading it for a readathon or am I reading it for Indie Press, etc. And so this one, I feel like I should include it because this is a book that I would really like to read. I think it has the potential to provide me with a lot of information that I didn't otherwise have. But that's the first one on the list, barely started. But I have like highlighted in the few pages and made notes in the few pages that I've read, and it deserves my time. And so that's why we're talking about these books, because they deserve my time and they deserve to be finished because I intended on finishing them, and I will. But I have to say this next book is the one that I am probably the most ashamed of. That's probably a pretty intense word, but as far as my reading life goes, an apt word, because I originally started this book in, let's see here, December 2019. I have about a quarter of it left, and I think the thing that bothers me the most about this book, yes, it's been a long time, but I've like dipped in and out of it fairly consistently since then, but it's because of the book itself, because a lot of you may know that one of my favorite books of all time, if we're gonna use that phrase, is The Tsar of Love and Techno, a short story collection by Anthony Mara. Well, this is his debut novel, A Constellation of Vital Phenomenon, and I have been so excited to read it. I put it off for a really long time because it's one of those, like, when you love a book so much and then there's another book by that same author, there's like almost pressure, at least for me. I get like, I'm afraid my expectations are going to ruin the experience sometimes. And this is the story of a little girl named Hava. This takes place in rural Chechnya in like the 1990s, I believe, in Russia. Or, of course, Russia. I said Chechnya. Anyway, Russian soldiers kidnap her father, and then the neighbor kind of takes Hava, and they go to a hospital where he thinks he'll be able to get help. And that's kind of the story. I don't feel like I necessarily need to start it over. I probably should, but I feel like I remember enough that I could finish it. But this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to need to reread at some point, I think, to really get the full experience out of it, because I have been dipping in and out of it, and it's also got one of my favorite bookmarks in it that I haven't been able to use, the reading glasses, and I think it's hilarious, and I just really like this bookmark, and it's been in this book for over a year. Another book that I started, I think I actually started this one before The Constellation of Vital Phenomenon. Let's see here. Yeah, July 2019. This is a book that was recommended to me by my therapist just to kind of learn more about the brain and the body and anxiety and that type of thing. And as I've mentioned before, I have a degree in psychology, so this is up my alley anyways. And that is The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body and the Healing of Trauma by Bessel van der Kolk, MD. And this just kind of looks at how trauma in your life or certain experiences in your life manifest in your body that then present in other ways, if that makes sense. I find it really fascinating. I'm about halfway through it. I haven't even gotten to the chapter that was like the main reason that I was going to read this book. It's about a particular therapy called EMDR. But I definitely recommend. I do find that it's for how science-based or scientific it is and like the references to studies and stuff, I find it fairly readable, but that could also be because of the background that I have and the knowledge that I have of psychology. So you may want to try and find other reviews by other people, but so far so good. And that's something that I can easily pick up again and just finish. A more recent book that I left behind was a book that I started when we were traveling, or right before we traveled to Alaska to visit family, and is a book that I really should have read a long time ago. And that is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I'm not going to go into the plot of this because I feel like most of you know. I was really enjoying it though. Like, tons of notes and underlining and like a really well written. She's a really good writer. This is my first time reading her fiction. I have read some of her nonfiction in the past, but I should finish this book. It deserves to be finished. I want to finish it. It's really interesting. The characters are great. And I don't know. This book was really a true book that got stuck in, I started school and then got distracted. So another one that we need to return to. All right, more than halfway through. And a book that I can't talk too much about because it's the second book in the series, but one of the very few books that I did manage to read in the fall / early winter was A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, and really enjoyed, and then immediately picked up the sequel, Shadow of Night, or the sequel or the second book in the trilogy, and the trilogy is called the All Souls Trilogy, and got a little ways into it, and then just, who knows what happened. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I don't know. But this is one that I'm not annotating, and for those of you who may not know, A Discovery of Witches is like a urban fantasy with vampires and witches and demons, and actually really surprised me as to how much I enjoyed it, because I did pick it up originally just for like a light, easy breezy, like, oh, this will just be fun to like read and not have to think about. But this will probably be one that I likely finish on audiobook, because I'm not annotating it, and that will be easy to like just listen to and enjoy while I do other things. And yeah, really fascinating place where this second book goes. So interesting. Never read another series that does what this book has done. And I don't think I'm going to need to start it over. It's a long book. It's over 500 pages. So, not a whole lot has happened. And there's also, this is so nice, there is, a list of all the characters and who they are in the back of this book, which I appreciate so much because there are a lot of them. So, another one that I will finish, but will probably linger for a little while. And then, dropping things. The last one is The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. A really, really good friend of mine has been trying to get me to read this book for years. And he's not the only one who is like gushed about this book. And I do need to read it. And I was really enjoying it. Like, his writing, he's a good storyteller. And I don't, again, feel like I need to start it over. I'm 88 pages into it. Again, not a whole lot has happened in a book that is almost 1,000. But this is a book that I am very convinced I will love, which could be a detriment to the book, but I really feel like it's going to live up to the hype. Again, not going to go in the plot. You guys know what it is. But yeah, that's the last one. So let's stack these up, I guess, and you can appreciate my reading shame, of books that I have started and not finished, but intend to finish. This is so weird for me. Like, I literally cannot explain how strange this is, because you guys know I generally read one book at a time, and if I have two going at a time, it's because I have a buddy read of one, or I'm happen to be listening to a book on audio, which is fairly rare for me, although becoming more consistent. And it's just so strange, and it just, every time I look at the stack, my heart just like sinks a little bit. So the goal is to get these read. I don't know if I'm gonna give myself a time frame for it, because I have plenty of other deadlines to meet, that I don't need to put another one on me that doesn't have to be there, but it is my plan to get through these books. I would really like to get through these books and finish them. Some of them a couple I'm more than halfway through, and I just need to finish. But if you guys have read any of these books, please let me know what your thoughts were on them, whether you liked them, loved them, etc. Hated them, you know the drill. It's been a little while since we've done the drill, but you guys do know it. Or any books that you think I would like based on the fact that I decided to read these. But if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a like, and if you loved it, please subscribe, and we will see you in my next video. Happy reading!